Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Indie-Velopment, a show where I give you a simple overview of some of the latest indie titles and then you decide if it's the game for you. And today's title is Continuum. Set in the near future, Earth is under attack from a nasty group of invading aliens. And we lost. GG Earth. However, all is not lost. Thanks to science, we have the ability to briefly go back in time and squash those alien bastards and prevent Earth's demise. If you're thinking this game's story sounds similar, then you're not alone. Just wait until you pick the default character. Spoiler, it's a discount Duke Nukem. What do you actually do in this game? Well, have you ever played a twin-stick shooter? It's basically that. If you're not familiar with the term, it's essentially a similar control scheme to Smash TV, Halo Spartan Assault, or Geometry Wars. Effectively, it allows the player to move and shoot in opposite directions during the game. And trust me, running and gunning is something you're going to be doing in this game a lot. Continuum mixes this up a little bit though, giving you a choice of 4 classes. The first, Onage Olga, the sniper. As the name suggests, she's a sniper. She's going to take out her enemies from a long distance. Next, you have Destructobot, the walking tank. Built like a brick shithouse, he's going to take a lot of damage while giving out just as much. Thirdly, Rampage Rufus, a close combat melee specialist. The name pretty much says it all right there. And lastly, you have Serious Smackdown Sam Nukem, the gunner. Probably the most applicable character, which we'll get into later. The gunner is a walking Rambo of this title. Once you've picked your character, you can jump right in and start mowing down some dirty aliens. You have 3 worlds initially to choose from, and each has 3 separate levels. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, and I'm sure more are coming later, but what's most important is how the developers have designed this game so that each level doesn't feel monotonous. Because trust me, you're going to die a lot, and replaying levels is just a matter of life with this game. Things can go from cool to calm to collected to Zerg Rush in the blink of an eye, and one misplaced shot or movement during this time will pretty much spell the end for you. But that's not the only reason this game doesn't feel monotonous, because every time you restart, the level is randomly generated. Now, the enemies and their characteristics stay the same, so there's that air of familiarity, but that's about where it stops. You never know what's going to be around the corner, who they are, and more importantly, how many there are there. And what keeps you coming back is that the more you play, the more you level up your character, their weaponry, and their special abilities. All of which can be leveled up upon completion of a level or death. During your playthrough though, you'll find pickups that randomly boost your various attributes from firing speed, max health points, or giving you special abilities like triple shots and automatic firing probes. And this is perhaps where we can talk about things that might need a little bit of fixing, because currently, the game feels very RNG at times. There's one planet in particular on the second level where you're meant to find some automatic turrets and activate them. Which you'll need to do because every 20 seconds there's going to be a huge wave of little critters that come flying at you, and the problem comes about in 2 different places. The first is that due to the random level structure that is automatically generated every time you start the level, you might not actually make it to your first turret in time before the first wave hits, and death is pretty imminent. And the second, for whatever reason, during the playthrough, rocks can start falling and dealing damage to your character. These are unavoidable, and it's like a subtle kiss of death and a secret FU from the developers, with a whisper of, "You're not gonna leave this place alive." Now clearly, this game is meant for 4 players, and all playing in co-op, so maybe in that case, this wouldn't be a problem. But the other problem is that at this time, you're going to need those friends to be in your house because online is still being worked on. And if I had to quote a developer, they would say that netcode is probably the hardest thing to ever develop. So I'm not going to expect it anytime soon. But hey, you expect these kinds of things from an early access game. The game is still in development. And what's currently here is pretty bug-free. The dynamic sound and the levels are really fun. I had a great time shooting up everything. It was really cathartic at the end of a long day. I didn't really have to think, I could just sit down and play, and it felt intrinsically rewarding every time I got through a level successfully. And of course, if you're not like me, you've actually got some friends to play with, and the game's just infinitely going to get a lot better if you've got some friends playing along with you. So the real question is this the game for you? Well, quite frankly, that's for you to decide. Hopefully I've given you enough information for you to actually make that decision. And for anyone interested, there's a link in the description below so you can actually go and support this game. Until next time, my name's Adam, and I'll see you guys next time.